Hello, I'm Lawrence Belden Smythe, English truth investigator at large in the USA. Wherever there's unusual cultural events, I'll be there, uncovering the truth. Unless it's high up, I'm really dreadfully afraid of heights. No, really, no truth-seeking above about this high. Anyway, like most good countries, the Americans have had their share of arguments in their time. One I've discovered, called the Civil War, was apparently pretty nasty. So to learn more, I came to Pennsylvania. I embedded myself into a troop of soldiers known as Confederates. I lived like them.
It's a large piece of pig, isn't it?
I learned to fight like them.
I got him!
And I battled fake Yankees with them, despite great personal risk. I'm very susceptible to sunburn, and it was very sunny. Wait for me! So join me on my journey back in time, because my name is Lawrence, and this is America.
I'll pack my favorite trousers, my toothbrush and my comb, 'cause America is calling me.
The state of Pennsylvania is in the northeast of the USA. Today it's best known for being fairly close to New York City and Canada. But back in the 1860s, Pennsylvania was a hotbed of action, all related to a big event known as the Civil War. I'm not entirely sure what started this lengthy conflict, but I do know it featured many battles between residents in northern states and their southern stated neighbors. Ultimately, when all the fighting stopped, the northern states were victorious, the southern states were ruined, and the country had proven how successful it could manage things when free of the evil British. I'm not criticizing, just saying maybe we weren't that bad. I mean, is coffee that much better than tea? Really? Anyway, Pennsylvania played an important part in this conflict. It was here the president at the time, this handsome devil named Abraham Lincoln, one of the few men in existence who could pull off that beard with no moustache and stovepipe hat look. It's tough to do, believe me. Ask my first girlfriend. Made an important speech at a place called Gettysburg. It was short, it inspired everyone and helped win the war or something like that. Today, thousands of modern Americans spend their weekends during summer remembering their conflict-ridden past. They dress up in costumes and stage fake battles called reenactments. Pennsylvania seemed as good a place as any to delve more deeply into this unusual activity. Hello, I'd like to enlist. So Union and which one is South? Is that Confederate or Union?
Confederate.
Confederate. I was granted exclusive access to this weekend event on one condition: I become fully immersed, just as soon as I signed the right paperwork.
If there's any accidents, we're not held responsible.
Okay. What kind of accidents?
Well, you might get hit by a bomb or whatever they call them, a cannonball. Doctor might have to take off your leg.
I'm almost certain she was joking. After signing away liability, it was time to get into costume. I mean, uniform.
Can you tell me a little bit about what I'm wearing?
You are wearing a standard issue Confederate gray uniform. Your belt buckle is a standard issue Confederate States belt buckle.
Confederate States.
Right. This is your cartridge box, which carries the rounds that go into your musket.
Right. Pretty obvious what this is for.
Obviously, yes. That was probably very handy out on the field because they got hot in battle. You needed water. You had to stay hydrated.
Hello, Mother. Yes, I'm a Confederate soldier.
Hand it over, Private.
I'm sorry, I have to go.
Private Belden Smythe. Where in 1864 they didn't have those.
Fine. The Belden Smythes are survivors. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be here. Unless I was adopted. After passing inspection, I was banished from my camera crew for the evening. They left me a small camera before fleeing to a nice, cozy bed and breakfast. Bastards. I'm a little apprehensive about the battle tomorrow. It's my first time I've ever been in a war, especially on the losing side. When they returned at dawn, they found this intrepid global truthologist's transformation to suffering Southern soldier was complete. One night sleeping on the ground will do that. First up, my first meeting with the Colonel, who holds my fate in his battle-scarred hands.
So is anyone going to Starbucks this morning?
No.
Confederate forces clearly had no personal space qualms.
That's yours for the weekend.
Thank
Take
you.
care of it.
How does it work?
These people take reenactments very seriously. Every effort is made to be authentic, right down to the living and eating arrangements. I never did find out exactly what that was. Probably best. During the real war, Northern soldiers were better equipped, better fed, and better organized. And this reenactment was no different. Look at those Nancy boys in their matching uniforms. They think they're so clever. Well, they may have fancier-looking stuff, but at least us Southern folk know how to march and do something called drilling.
1,
2.
1, 2. Shoulder, arms. Shoulder, arms.
There's a lot to remember when you're about to be in a pretend battle.
Ready. Commence firing. Bang.
Bang!
After several long, arduous minutes of practice, my squad, or brigade, or was it a battalion, was deemed ready to face certain fake death in the upcoming battle. Our first brush with the enemy loomed. I hitch up my journalism credentials and reveal the true horror of pretend war next. I'm somewhere in the state of Pennsylvania, embedded with a Confederate troop about to wage war against the Northern forces known as the Yankees. To fully complete the transformation from jet-setting journalist to cannon-fodder rebel soldier, it's essential some of my report be conducted in authentic 1860s style, through diary entries and letters to my mother, which shall commence now until I get bored with it. Dear Mother, Lawrence here. How are you? I'm tired, dirty, and I fear we are soon to meet our fates. But at least the uniform is surprisingly comfy. Before our first battle, the colonel informed the men we'd have a chance to show our southern pride in front of the local townsfolk. We gathered, then marched, with hope in our hearts and blanks in our rifles, through the center of the nearby town. As I paraded and fired my weapon, I felt a growing connection with my war mates. The quaint townsfolk were there in number to celebrate our appearance and imminent demise. At least they were polite, and the street wasn't too long. It was a bit hot, though. You were right, I should have packed lighter socks. I will take my leave now, Mother, as I enter into a struggle I don't fully understand, but seem destined to fight, as I am contractually obligated. I will, as always, strive to do you proud. Say hello to Whiskers McMittens for me. Your loving son, Lawrence. Dear Diary, what the f*** am I doing here? The colonel has marched us to one side of an open field behind large piles of dirt, as if that's going to protect us. Apparently, we're trying to hold this position in the face of a Yankee onslaught. Holy shit, those cannons are loud. No one told me they'd rigged explosives on the battlefield.
Does that mean the war started?
Yes, sir.
They're coming. The Yankees are coming.
Hey, I see Union coming through the woods.
Buck up, boys! Buck up!
Ready? Aim.
Is that us? Yeehaw! Take that, you Yankee bastards!
Commence firing! Well done, lads.
Despite my best efforts, no one on the Yankee side seemed willing to die. Death is apparently voluntary.
Can I die yet?
No.
Not yet.
Nope.
Smells like eggs burning. Don't shoot me!
Come on, Billy!
And on you go, Yank!
This one's for the Boston Tea Party!
Give it to him, Lord.
They just poured gunpowder in my ear. At some point, the order was given to charge, despite my morbid and paralyzing fear of, letting my troopmates down, of course. I entered the fray. I have to confess, Diary, at some moments this was all too real. The gunfire, the heat, the pointless yelling was overwhelming. I had but one thought. Why didn't I decide to investigate Hawaiian beaches instead? And then we retreated. Not sure why. And then, just like that, the battle was over. And apparently we won. How on earth did that happen? I was apparently severely wounded in the exchange of fake gunfire and was quickly evacuated to the nearby medical center, otherwise known as a tent on the battlefield's edge.
Ah! Ah!
What's your name? What's your name, soldier?
Private Lawrence.
First name?
Lawrence.
Lawrence.
You can call me Laurie.
All
Ow!
right, take it. Oh, son, we have to take it off now.
Oh!
Take it off.
Hurts. Cut it off. The jacket, not the arm. Ow! Oh!
Conditions were historically accurate and primitive.
Oh my God!
A crowd of locals gathered to watch the suffering, and my wound was much worse than first thought.
Oh, stop the bleeding! Stop the bleeding!
All right.
Ah!
All right.
Ah!
Listen to me.
Yes.
Listen to me. Dear Heavenly Father, we're going to be all right. I want you to pray to the Lord.
Are you
in
giving me my last rites?
No, sir. No,
That
sir.
sounds like my last rites.
Let's be asking the Lord for some help here, okay? Until the doctor can get to you, it's you and me.
Dear Lord,
It's you and me, so we need to ask the Lord for some help
I
too.
need some help.
All right.
I promise I'll go to church every Sunday.
Doc, we need your help.
I'll stop drinking. I see a light. I see a light. Then go towards the light.
Son, it's just the sun. You're all right.
It's the sun. It's the sun.
Dear Diary, I'll tell you if I survive or not next. Unless, of course, I'm dead. Then I probably won't. Previously, in true 1860s style, I have recounted my days as a Civil War reenactment combatant in true period style. I shall do so no longer. It's too hard. I'd been involved in a brutal fake battle against the Northern forces on a patch of cleared Pennsylvanian forest. Despite being outnumbered, terrified, and a little disorganized, in the end we somehow prevailed. But in the violent struggle for control of a dirt mound, I was mysteriously wounded and carted off to the local medical center.
You'll live to fight another day, soldier.
I will.
Yes, you will.
I don't want to fight another day.
Miraculously, despite suffering grave shoulder injuries, I recovered fully in less than half an hour and was able to rejoin my troop in time for ration distribution.
Mr. Bacon?
Bacon.
Tater?
Potato.
You got some hard bread? Some foraged apples?
This is plenty of food for a Belden Smythe. My great-uncle Harry once lived for a month on one parsnip, 2 caterpillars and a bucket of sand. After food, the troop got mail from loved ones far away from this pretend battleground. The attention to detail is so good, I got a letter from my imaginary wife.
I'm very sorry to hear of you all having to fight so much, but I don't suppose peace will ever be made without a great deal of hard fighting.
After receiving sustenance, physically and emotionally, what followed was quiet time, so we could think about what we'd done and prepare for tomorrow's skirmish. This provided an excellent chance to learn more about my fellow reenactors and what exactly we were fighting about.
Why did the Civil War start?
The Civil War started not over slavery, but over taxation and unfair trade practices that were being exposed upon the Southern people.
So that's why the whole war happened. But why do these people choose to play a game in which they constantly lose?
Well, you get a lot of history. You get the camaraderie, hanging out with all the people, you know, sitting around the fire, talking history, just being out in the outdoors, you know, having fun, meeting a lot of new people, and being crazy.
This is my little escape from reality, even if it's for 48 hours, you know, here and there for a weekend.
Yeah.
It helps. So, and bottom line, it keeps me sane.
Why did you all pick to be on the side of the Confederacy?
That's my heritage in South Carolina.
I do put the blue on once in a while, but it's odd to do. It really is odd.
Is it a real thrill being in that state of confusion?
There are times when it's real. It becomes real. You're in the moment so much that, yeah, it's actually real.
You just kind of get in the zone and I don't know, you just go through the motions without even thinking.
How am I shaping up as a soldier?
You're fine.
You can be honest.
You're fine. Trust me. It's a little more difficult for people the first time when they go out because it's confusing and it's noisy out there.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, you'll be right up there with the rest of us, as far as a reenactor.
Conversations over and the sun setting, there was nothing left to do but sit around and get drunk.
We are here to kill Yankees. That's the bottom line, right?
At dawn, or several hours after dawn, we awoke to face our destiny and our hangovers. The final battle of the weekend is the biggest, and for this challenge I was promoted, or demoted, I'm not sure which, probably promoted, to the artillery section. Seems like a promotion, doesn't it? I mean, they've got red hats.
Private, welcome aboard.
Thank you very much, sir.
Being on the cannon team requires teamwork, training, discipline, nerves of steel, and no hearing at all.
Whoa! Whoa!
But before long, I had mastered my string pulling. So it was time to gather my thoughts before our final struggle. I also used this precious time to bond with my new best friends. We didn't need to talk. Real pretend soldiers are comfortable with silence. For today's combat, the field was reversed. The Yankees held the dirt piles. It was our job to take them, or pretend to die trying. Once more into the fray, to find out who lives, who dies, and who can't decide. Stay tuned. I'm Lawrence Belden Smythe, embedded journalist with a troupe of American Civil War reenactors.
A large piece of pig, isn't it?
About to face my mortality in a potentially bloody fight for several mounds of dirt. Before the foot soldiers' march, the artillery crew and I softened up our foe.
Fire!
This would be an excellent way to mark New Year's or a birthday, although the neighbours may object.
Fire!
Then I was thrust into the heat of battle.
Wait for me!
Eventually.
Fire! We can tumble apart!
Today's fight was more organised. Our boys gave it everything, all the gunpowder and screaming we could muster.
Keep it low! Keep it hot!
How much longer are we gonna do this? I got him! Take this! Ah!
Casualties were high, probably because it was pretty hot standing out in the middle of that field. These uniforms are heavy.
Today's a beautiful day to die, apparently.
The pretty boy Yankees looked all smug in their comfy mounds. I heard later they were supposed to charge, but didn't feel like it. So, sick of waiting and mindful of Sunday evening traffic, we advanced.
Company! Charge! One, go for the wall! One for one, go for the wall! One only!
As I approached the enemy, I thought about what this weekend represents. But before I could reach any conclusions, my fate beckoned.
Oh! Oh!
Oh, I die, Horatio. The potent poison quite o'ercrows my spirit. I cannot live to hear the news from England. And something about the accession falling on Fortinbras. The rest is silence. Is that all right?
And just like that, the weekend was over. In the blink of an eye, the 1860s were packed away until the next weekend. I'd come to this reenactment expecting to see grown men running around reenacting their childhood. But what I found instead were men, women and children trying to connect with each other and American history. Whether they're dressing up in complex and sweaty costumes, voluntarily choosing to camp miles from room service, pay-per-view movies or toilets, or spending days firing pouches of gunpowder at one another, these people have a purpose.
Aye, aye, Colonel, sir!
They may not have the politics quite right all the time, but they believe strongly in honoring the memory of the millions of people affected by a significant moment in American history.
I salute you, Civil War reenactors, for your spirit, your attention to historic detail, and your gunpowder. This experience has taught me that war in any form is senseless, brutal and tragic, but pretending to be at war can actually be pretty cool, if a little grimy. So until next time, reporting and counting the minutes until I can take a shower from Perryopolis, Pennsylvania, this is Lawrence Belden Smythe.